What's going on, everyone? This is Sarge, and this is a frequently asked questions video where I answer most of your commonly asked questions on this commentary. So what you're going to be looking at here is some gameplay on Rush Sane Crossing, and I'm using the Assault Kit, playing the aggressive route as usual, using the M16A3. The first question I get asked a lot is what my favorite recon weapon is, and I made a video previously about the post-patch recon and how effective it was using in game and the changes they've made, that DICE has made. And I mentioned that my favorite bolt action weapon in general now to use is the SV98. The reason behind that was that I've noticed that it gives me a lot more, a much better register. The previous bolt actions, such as the M40 and the L96, which I used before, were really good in pre-patch, but post-patch there seems to be some sort of I'm not sure if it's a glitch. I believe some people mentioned that the L96 has a glitch now, but when you're lining up your targets and you're shooting at them, it just sometimes your bullets are flying off or they're not hitting their targets when they're supposed to, and I've noticed it happen repeatedly within the new post-patch. SV98 doesn't have that. The M90B also doesn't have that as well. And those are both weapons that I'm using back and forth as they give me the best registered shots. And so I've tried a various amount of scopes, thinking that it was the scopes and also the attachments like the red dot, removing that, and trying, you know, other types of different attachments that are available with the recon kit with the same results. So it was just in general the SV98, M98B gave me the best registered shots. Now if I'm not using the bolt action and if I'm going to switch to the semi automatics, it'll be a combination between the SKS, as that got a really good buff in the new patch, and the MK11, as I feel the MK11 has one of the fastest reloads in the game, and it responds faster, so you're able to engage your targets and pick them off much faster than the other semis. So those are the weapons that I like to use playing the recon kit. If it's attachments like scope attachments, I use a combination between the PKA 3.4 times or the ACOG 4 times. That's sort of the new alteration between the pre-patch and now the post-patch. The reason behind using those scopes is I just do not like the scope glint, and so I'll never use the 8 times and the 12 times in general. Obviously the scope glint happens if you're going to be scoping in a long time, but you know, if you're going to flank the enemy and you're trying to pick off your positions, you're going to be spotted out if you're going to be scoping in general. So using the ACOG or a lesser times scope in general will not reveal your position. It's also the same reason why I'm not using the red dot sight anymore. I used to use it for the hip fire accuracy, obviously, to pull off those, you know, crazy no scopes, but in general it's not a huge difference without it, and the fact that you can actually flank your targets and be stealth at the same time is also the reason why I don't use that attachment no longer. Alright, and so that covers most of the recon section. The other questions obviously is, you know, what my favorite assault weapon is, engineer, and support. I don't play support as often, so I don't really know exactly what my favorite support kit is. I just haven't been spending time within the post-patch lately at all. But pre-patch it was the MG36. I'm not sure if that's still a really great weapon. I hear that the PKP is also really good now in post-patch. So I will have to give that a shot, and I will have to release a video later on to kind of dive into the support kit. But engineer, it is the M4A1, as I feel that's still a great weapon from pre-patch, and it carried over to post-patch. The assault weapon is obviously the M16A3. They didn't really make any changes to the weapon in post-patch, but it's still a good weapon despite the fact they've made no changes to it, and it still carries. You can carry an entire game by playing aggressively, and I'm talking about the type of aggressiveness that's like oblivious. Like you can just literally go all out Rambo with this weapon and do good both close quarter engagements and obviously from farther distances as well. It just picks off targets and does a really good job, and that's what you're seeing here in this gameplay. AAK is also a really good weapon I like to use, as it also allows me to engage targets and be really effective at close quarter, that is. If it was attachments that I'm going to use for these type of weapons, the assault weapons, it's a combination of the heavy barrel. It's like soloing the heavy barrel by itself, or using the flash suppressor and foregrip combination. So those tend to give me really good results in my game. That's just for me. Obviously everyone has their own particular taste to attachments when it comes to attachments in the post patch, as they have a lot of variety. What my field of view is, that I've answered that question almost like a million times, and I'm just going to answer that here now. In Bad Company 2, it was 88, but in Battlefield 3, I have it set to 100. And I'm able to exceed what the limit is, because if you're playing Battlefield 3 just regularly, they only allow you to extend the FOV so far. 90, I believe, is the max you can do it. So I use a third-party program called BF3 Settings Editor. I provided a link in one of my previous videos on where you can download that. It allows you to fully customize your controls in the game. So I have it set to 100. Vertically, and I think horizontally, I can't remember specifically what the number is, but it kind of auto sets what the horizontal is going to look like. But vertically, I set it to 100. Let's see. Other than that, why do I set my graphic settings low? You might notice in some of the gameplay is to allow me to play with higher frames per second. Obviously, FPS is more important than pretty graphics for me. That is just that's just common sense for any competitive player out there. You're always going to set your graphics settings or graphic settings low, which I've always done in my previous games. And what my future favorite upcoming games are going to be is Firefall is a game that I've looked into. I played the beta and I really enjoyed it. Diablo 3 is another game I've played and thoroughly enjoyed, and I'll be playing that game as well. Guild Wars 2 is something I'm looking heavily forward to. Medal of Honor I'm not sure about. Ghost Recon Future Soldier is also a game I'm not really sure about as well. But, you know, there's just so many good games that are coming out in the future that I'm also excited about. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this short video of my frequently asked questions. Obviously, I'm going to be doing another one. So if you have any questions for me, go ahead and leave those questions here in this video, and I will carry those over to my next one that I'll be doing soon. So until then, I'll catch you guys later. Take care.